Hello, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and today I want to do a video, and we're going to title this video Biobots, Alien Technology, question mark. So, alien human hybrids, or as I call them, biobots, are fascinating and a controversial topic at the intersection of biology and technology. It's a field that is rapidly evolving with new advances being made every day. So, what are biobots? Essentially, biobots are organisms created by combining biological materials with artificial components. These can range from simple engineered cells to more complex creatures that incorporate elements of human and animal DNA. The goal is to create organisms with unique properties and capabilities that can be used for various applications. I personally believe that gray aliens, at least some of them, are biobots. At least that is what I believe. Okay, and I'll tell you a story why I believe it. Many years ago, of course, I've told you before that I've done a lot of interviews with abductees and contactees. Probably, probably, um, one of the things that was a common thread throughout many of these conversations was the feeling that when they were in the presence of the grays, that they were not really, uh, uh, they were kind of a combination, people would say, between kind of a machine and kind of an entity, a live biological entity. One of them, actually, I think was two times people would talk about where they were able to get what they call eye covers off of their eyes. And there they would see these kind of computer generated X's and O's type things like, data was being projected through their eye under their eye lens. Okay, so that really, got my attention. So many times I would ask them, and sometimes, people would have that same particular feelings that these were like what I would call like a biobot, not a complete, um, alive entity. Okay, so anyways, with that said, why would we create, why would man create them, at least these biobots? And let me tell you some of the reasons why they would. There are many medical applications that could be used. They could revolutionary medicine by delivering drugs to specific cells in the bodies. Now we're talking about the small biobots, okay? We're not necessarily talking about these entity type biobots. But let's talk about a couple different things here. So they could be used to repair damaged tissues, fighting diseases like cancer. Uh, they could develop these tiny, what I call swimming robots that um, have been made actually from frog cells that can be used to deliver medication inside the human body. Environmental remediation. Biobots can be used to clean up pollution, detect contaminants, monitor environmental conditions. For example, bacteria engineered to degrade oil can be deployed to clean up oil spills. These are very positive things. So there's also, of course, in the industrial applications could be used to like manufacture materials for science and energy production. For instance, researchers are developing biobots to produce electricity or creating new materials. Okay, of course, there's the ethical concerns, and they are as follows: animal welfare. The creation of biobots could raise the concerns from animal welfare, particularly if they are subject to experiments or suffering. Um, Human dignity. There are concerns that the creation of human animal hybrids could blur the lines between humans and animals, potentially undermining human dignity. Unintentional consequences are another thing. There is a risk that biobots could unintended have unintended consequences, such as escaping into an environment and causing harm. Very possible. So the future of biobots is uncertain. While there is this great potential for these creatures to benefit society, They are also significant challenges to overcome. As research in this field continues, it will be important to carefully consider the ethical implications and ensure that biobots are developed and used responsibly. Okay, so that is kind of I would say, the more recent look at this. Okay, now we're going to talk about, I'm going to go back now. We're going to go back to several years ago where I read some articles and did some research, and I want to share a little bit of that with you. So this goes back to Britain because in Britain, apparently, they were creating at one point these human animal hybrids, and maybe as many as 150 different kind of types, and probably more. So I did an interesting posting at the time. Whitley Striever had done this book, a new book at the time. Now it's an old book, I guess, and it's called Hybrids. Even though the British hybrids were just embryos, it shows that Whitley's book is just a few steps ahead of what we now know. I will tell you, we have produced advanced hybrids, animals and humans here in America in a sophisticated underground basis for several years now. And that was going back. Okay. So, but that is a dangerous story to tell. Okay. So, that is a dangerous story to tell. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. Um, so, let's go back to the British report. This is a report that uh, about a program that was called hybridization program in 2008. And I think it had a title actually. It was called Human uh, Fertilization Embryology. Okay. The purpose was to develop hybrid embryos to use their stem cells to cure human diseases. Okay. So this was a kind of it started as a stem cell project. The problem was that 98% of stem cell cures have come from human stem cells, not a creation in a test tube. Okay. So, why are we doing this? The answer is we can. The answer is that we can do it. It may be just that simple. Scientists love to experiment. Okay. The problem here is that mixing species of such diversity can produce some very strange and unwanted results. And if they are successful, they will always push forward, testing the limits, and there would be a high probability that this unnatural union can create possibly a deadly microbe. Okay? And this process could be extremely quick, so quick that the whole segments of the population could be wiped out in a few weeks. So when you start mixing, I guess what the point would be, if you start mixing DNA from different species, it can rapidly create a dangerous microbe. Okay? Very important. So what is next in this hybrid creation? Because science is not going to stop. As much as we can try to put laws in, there will gradually science will overcome all of it. Okay, they will find ways to get around the laws. So the ultimate thing, what they want to do, science wants to do, is create this what I've been calling the biobot to do everything man does not want to do. So this is to create some kind of creature that would be, I guess a robot in many ways, a bio robot, basically, part human and part maybe some animal, part mechanical. Um, so the perfect, and this could be to do all these things we do not want to do, like clean toilets, mining, fighting wars, and more. Perfect soldier may be just around the corner. The killer without no emotions. Okay, the perfect killer. This may be the point in which mankind must draw the line in the sand before our technology ends human life as we know it. Okay, so that is a little bit of the warning at the end. So I just want to tell you the reason I went through all this to try to tell you this is one kind of important thing. I've already seen photos years ago when I was in Dulce, New Mexico. at a conference. Okay. And I've told this story before. I was able to see photographs, which I will tell you, and this is quite a few years ago, that I believe were absolutely authentic. Okay. These were photographs that Native Americans showed me, and they were, I guess, initial experiments in biobots. Okay. These were weird looking creatures, creatures that, you know, had fish gills, had human faces, had skin like deer skin. What else? Uh, Parts of cows. They were just, they looked like they were just experimenting to see what they could get. But I think finally they will probably get to something. And it's been many years. So probably by now it's been perfected. And this has to do with the alien combination base in Dulce, New Mexico, on the underground base. So, anyways, with that said, I just wanted to do a little bit of an update on Biobots and maybe throw out that warning, which I've thrown out before, but we're going to keep on throwing it out. Anyways, with all that said, that's it. Hopefully, you have a great day. We'll see you. Bye bye.